The thoughts, views, and comments expressed on this show are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production of Glory 93.9 FM.
Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women. And good morning and welcome to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Glory 93.9 FM. I am your host, Michelle Malcolm. And as always, it's a tremendous pleasure to be. I am especially excited today because my guest today is a gentleman who I have admired for quite some time. He is the person who is behind the whole philosophy of what you have heard me share on this show time and time again about the benefits of therapeutic nutrition on the body. And I'm thrilled when I got word that Dr. Joel Wallach has agreed to be the guest on GPS today. Listen, y'all don't know how excited I am. This man and his research have literally changed my life. And he is going to bring some incredible information for you today that will blow mind. So let me quickly set it up who this gentleman is. Dr. Joel Wallach is a world-renowned physician, lobbyist, comparative pathologist, speaker, author of the best-selling book Dead Doctors Don't Lie, biomedical research pioneer, Nobel Prize nominee, scientist, agricultural expert, and visionary. Yeah, he's done all of that. He has spent decades of his life researching the effects of nutrients on health, and he currently spends his time lecturing around the world on the therapeutic benefits of vitamins and minerals. Dr. Wallach is the founder of the company Longevity. He has also written a book on epigenetics. His works are now in the Smithsonian in the United States, and he is well respected around the world for his incredible knowledge on health and nutrition and the impact of therapeutic nutrition on the body's ability to heal itself. So, Dr. Joel Wallach, welcome, sir, to GPS.
Well, thank you, Michelle, for the very kind introduction. I appreciate the visit and give me an excuse to come down to the Bahamas soon.
Yes, we want you back. We want you back. Doc Wallach was last year, I think in 2018. And at that time, I had an opportunity to introduce him to the then Minister of Health, Dr. Dwayne Sands. And so in the meeting, he says to him, "So where do you live?" And Doc Wallach responds, "Delta Airlines," because that's how much he travels. Well, obviously, COVID has slowed down worldwide travel, but he spends a lot of time lecturing around the world about the therapeutic nutrition, the benefits of therapeutic nutrition on the body. So before we dive into this conversation with Doc Wallach, I want to play a short video about his life and how he got to be where he is as an expert on therapeutic nutrition and its impact on the body.
People always ask me, how did I get interested in this nutrition program for human beings? Well, it all started when I was 4 years old. And when I was 4 years old, I would have what would today be called Tourette syndrome. My mom took me to an eye doctor, a very famous eye doctor, Dr. Mary Jane Skeffington in St. Louis. And she examined me. She was a medical doctor, eye doctor, and she said, look, I can't find anything wrong with Joel. I do find that he has long eyelashes, and I believe they're hitting his eyeglasses, turning around, curling around, tickling his eyeballs, and this is what's causing him to have these tics and facial cramps and making noises and everything. Well, I'm 9 years old, and I couldn't believe that that would be true. And so the next day in school, after she told me to use an eyelash brush to retrain my eyelashes, I went to the library at lunchtime, and I got a nurse's handbook, and I looked up eyelids and eyelashes, and I couldn't find what I was looking for. And so I went into the index, and I looked up the A's and the B's and the C's, and got to cramps, and it told me what page to go to, and I went to that page, and it said cramps are caused by a calcium deficiency. Well, every morning I'd have to feed the calves that we were going to sell at the auction by giving them alfalfa pellets that were enriched with vitamins and minerals. And I remember reading the analysis tag, and it had calcium amongst all the other things in the pellets. The next day in the morning, I threw the Cheerios out to the chickens, and I put those alfalfa pellets enriched with vitamins and minerals into my cereal bowl. And my mom thought that was crazy. She wanted to take it away from me. My dad said, oh, well, let him try it. What do you have to lose here? And I poured milk in there and began to eat them like cereal. And by the third day, my Tourette syndrome was gone, just in 3 days, after 5 years of getting worse and worse and worse. So when I was 9 years old, I had discovered something that even medical doctors hadn't thought of, and it was kind of scary. And so I believed at that time that it was actually a gift from God. And so I've always treated that information very, very special as a result. And I've devoted my life to making sure everybody knew about these nutrients. And I learned as we went along that you could prevent and reverse almost every disease you could name. Even ones that were thought to be genetically transmitted were really just nutritional deficiencies. And I developed programs to deal with 900 different human diseases, and it all worked. And over the years, I've literally helped millions of people with their diseases and learned how to not only manage them better, but also prevent them and get rid of them.
So that's just a brief look at what Dr. Wallach has been able to do. And there are documentaries out there on his life. There's one called The Audacity of Health, where you can learn a lot more about his story and how he got to the place where he understood what you would have heard in that video clip about the effects of nutrition on the body. And I have to say, Dr. Wallach has been saying these things for decades, and oftentimes when he comes out with stuff, the medical system attacks and says, oh, this is foolishness, and then decades later they come back and the very same thing Doc has been saying for decades, all of a sudden they realize is real. Like collagen, for instance. Collagen is the buzzword nowadays, Doc, but you've been talking about collagen for decades.
Well, yes, Michelle, because you have to appreciate when you deal with racehorses, they have leg and joint problems and so forth. So collagen is very important. And so for athletes, that's how we came out with the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack for athletes. And we're talking about in the old days when I was a kid, we didn't have electricity, Michelle, until I was 9 years old. We used to, we had wood stoves and fireplaces and fire pits. And every night, before we go to bed, we'd put the bones from the animals we were eating, either lamb chop bones, the rib bones from lamb chops, and we would put chicken bones and turkey bones and duck bones and fish bones in water and put them on the top of the wood stove, and they would simmer all night. And then we would fight in the morning who's going to get to drink the bone soup. And of course, collagen, and now they're talking about bone soup. Well, we were doing that when I was 9 years old. I'm 82 now, and most people think I'm in my 50s when they look at me because I don't have any wrinkles and so forth, and I don't have any joint problems, and I have no health problems whatsoever.
Yeah, you look pretty good.
Because I've been taking pretty good for 82.
Yeah.
But collagen is a big thing. Of course, we have a liquid, what we call glucogel, made from beef skin and beef tendons. We have the capsules of the glucogel, beef tendons and beef skin. And then we have collagen peptides, which are collagen from fish, poultry, sheep, and beef. And we put bits and pieces into what we call Pro Joint FS, another program we have for people who have joint problems. And we have a basic program we call MSM, which are sulfur compounds that help convert these other nutritional elements into collagen, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, cartilage, and the walls of arteries and so forth, skin. All of these are made from collagen. It's a very important thing. And of course, we've been dealing with this for over 50 years. Mm-hmm. And again, as you say, I don't know if you're familiar with Dan Buettner and the Blue Zones.
I'm not.
Okay, well, the Blue Zones came out in 2005. It was a cover article in the National Geographic magazine. He discovered 5 places on Earth where people live the longest and documented, and everybody agrees that they're long-lived people. And he went and studied them, and he said it has nothing to do with what they eat and where they live and all that kind of stuff. The reason all live so long is they're all happy. Well, the reason why they were happy is because they didn't have any health issues. And he was exactly 100% wrong. It was what they were eating, okay? Because they either lived near the ocean, we're talking about Okinawa, one of the Blue Zones, mm-hmm. okay? And they have long-lived peoples. And when you look at what's going on with this pandemic virus, they have a total of 756 infections and 84 dead. When you look at, let's see here, a place called the Bahamas, they have 8,000 infections and 176 dead, very yes. close. And of course, the Bahamas are very similar in dietary habits as Okinawa. They're both kind of like Polynesian peoples living in volcanic island things and eating seaweed and seafood and that kind of stuff, getting all these weird trace minerals. We actually have a product which we call Fucoid Z, which is made from all these seaweeds that come from these long-lived places. And so you can actually get that. And that's one of the reasons why I'm 82, but I look like I'm 50. It really freaks everybody out when I, tell them all the things.
Here's the thing, though, Doc. The Bahamas has a very, very high rate of non-communicable diseases. I mean, cancer is rampant. Blood pressure is rampant. Type 2 diabetes, rampant. Heart disease, rampant. I mean, you name it, we've got it. This is a very, very sick nation. And I know now, based on the studies that I have done, that it is very much related to what we are consuming. But you said something on a show the other day, not a show, but it was actually a graduation ceremony for the newest class of health coaches. And you said something that blew my mind. You made a connection between the high prevalence of death from COVID in communities of persons of color and gluten. And I was like, what? So that is what made me decide I got to find a way to get Doc Wallach on this show. So tell us about your theory as it relates to why certain communities are impacted in a worse way than others from COVID-19.
Okay, now I want you to appreciate, Michelle, that this is the theory. This is actual drop-dead facts, okay? It's not a hypothetical theory. Mm-hmm. I have to appreciate that my thesis for my postdoctoral fellowship, which is kind of like a PhD plus, is in the Smithsonian Institute, as you said earlier, as a national treasure. It's listed as a national treasure. It represents 20,000 autopsies in vertebrates, 454 species of animals, and 3,000 human beings, okay? Mm-hmm. And 17,000 some change of these 454 species of animals. What I learned was that every vertebrate who is deficient in the same nutrient is going to get the same disease. It's not genetic in any way, shape, or form. And then, so what does gluten have to do with all this? Well, gluten has a substance in it called pro-inflammatory cytokines, which cause an extreme amount of inflammation and kill tissues, okay? Gluten is found in wheat, barley, rye, and oats. Wheat, barley, rye, and oats are rich in these glutens, and they have these pro-inflammatory cytokines which kill cells. And so that's why, I want you to listen up here, that's why a 3-year-old anywhere in the world, when they get let's see here, when they get exposed to something like a pandemic virus, we can go back to 1918 in the Spanish flu, mm-hmm. but when they get exposed to a pandemic virus or a bacterial plague or something like that, their body's supposed to release antibodies and white blood cells and go after and kill and eat the viruses or bacteria or fungus or yeast or whatever's invading them. Okay, well, here's the problem. 3 minimum things have to happen. Number one, you have to be able to absorb the nutrition that then goes to the bone marrow, which makes the white blood cells and the antibodies to go kill and eat the viruses and bacteria, fungus, and yeast.
Mm-hmm.
So a 3-year-old has only been eating gluten for 2.5 years. They still have about 95% of their absorptive surface left in their intestines. When you open up their intestines at autopsy or surgery, their intestines look like a shag rug in there. Okay,
Right.
A lot of surface area. Finger-like villi. You've heard of that?
Yes, of course.
No, nothing new.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now over time, when you're 33 years old, now suddenly you're down to 50%. Okay, of your villi are left.
Mm-hmm.
When you're 63 years old, only 2 villi are left.
Mm.
And people say, what do you mean, Wallach? I've been eating oatmeal all my life. What do you mean I
Yes.
got to give it up? Well, that's why you got to give it up, because you've been eating it all your life. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because slowly, it's not a switch on, switch off thing. It's like drip, 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 drip. Slowly it changes, slowly changes. And you know people who have skin problems, eczema, dermatitis, psoriasis, and rosacea, which they attribute to with lupus and that sort of stuff, and autoimmune diseases. It's actually a simple nutritional deficiency. And then people also have celiac disease, Crohn's disease, irritable bowel syndrome, ulcerative colitis. These are also nutritional deficiency diseases that occur when you have all this damage to your villi and your intestines, and you can't absorb nutrients. So you wind up with all these pre-existing conditions, things like obesity, diabetes, which is a nutritional deficiency, not high blood pressure, kidney disease. You're on dialysis, and heart disease, and you have lung issues. You have asthma and COPD, and you have thyroid issues, and you have everything from Parkinson's disease to Alzheimer's disease. These are all nutritional deficiency diseases. I'll repeat that. These are all nutritional deficiency diseases, and it's occurred because you've been eating gluten all your life and not supplementing. So first of all, you have to supplement to guarantee you're going to get all the nutrition. Now, we do that in animals. We don't have health insurance for animals. So how do we keep the veterinarian from having to come out every day and treat the animals and run up the veterinary bills? We give them the 90 essential nutrients. And so they said, well, why not people? I started it when I was 9 years old, and it worked for people, and that's how all this works. Well, gluten sets you up because when your bone marrow is dead, because you can't absorb enough nutrition to make white blood cells, your T lymphocytes and antibodies, and you know of people, Michelle, and everybody knows this in their family or their workplace or their church who has to go to the doctor once a month to get an iron shot and a B12
Yes.
shot because they're chronically anemic.
Yes.
Because their bone marrow is not working anymore. Their bone marrow is not working anymore. Say, oh, you're old, you got to expect this. No, it's because you've been eating gluten for 30, 40, 50 years. Then the next thing that happens is they say, you got to come in once every 2 months. We're going to give you a transfusion so you get platelets because you're getting bleeding under your skin. You're getting all this bruising under your skin. We don't want you to hemorrhage to death, so we're going to give you platelets and a transfusion every couple months. And then after a couple of years of that, they say, this is just too much trouble here and it's running up the expenses. Why don't we give you a bone marrow transplant? Okay, and all they have to do is get off of gluten and take the 90 essential nutrients. In 2 to 4 weeks, they'll be perfectly normal.
My God.
I do this with millions of people
Yeah.
every month around the world.
Yeah, I've seen people, unbelievable, the things that I've seen people heal from. The doctors will tell you can't regrow cartilage. You need a knee replacement. That's a load of crap. I've seen people regrow cartilage in their knees. You can regrow cartilage.
Well, Michelle, I do this in famous people. Andy Young. That's how I got started in the Black community, through Andy Young, the great civil rights leader, general for Martin Luther King Jr., and also mayor of Atlanta, legislative guy. He was scheduled for a double knee replacement. I rebuilt his knees in 2 weeks' time, and he started introducing to me people. Okay. And one of whom was a Buffalo Dollar out of Atlanta, Georgia, whose daughter was born with what they said was a genetic disease in Black kids, and she was not going to live to be 12. And she was like 11 years old and on her deathbed. She was dying. And so Andy Young connected me with Creflo Dollar. They said, no, sir, it's not a genetic disease. We can solve this. All the best doctors here in Atlanta are saying she's going to be dead in 2 weeks. I said, well, you have your choice. Listen to them or listen to me. So he listened to me. And I sent him overnight the 90 essential nutrients. He gave them to her. In 2 weeks' time, she was cured. After 11 years, the whole family being miserable and mentally and emotionally dying. And she was dying slowly. Okay, so we got her on a gluten-free diet, got her on the 90, cured her, and she gave him beautiful grandchildren and everything. And he paid for the first 1,000 copies of the book Black Gene Lies and the CD Black Gene Lies, which came from my giving a lecture at his church. And he was just appalled that all these diseases said to be genetic in the Black community are not.
Yes.
They're just simple nutritional deficiencies. And so I credit him with coming out and paying for that book, Black Gene Lies. He says, well, you're telling us that all these diseases that the medical system is saying is genetic in the Black community are not. I said, that's right. High blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, heart disease, cancer, thyroid issues, brain issues. None of these are genetic. They're all just simple nutritional deficiency diseases. Get off all the bad stuff and let's get everybody on the 90. And we did. And he said, you got to put this in a book. I said, okay. And he bought the first 10,000 copies. And just a great, great story there.
Mm-hmm.
And been a great seller over the world. Every Black kid in America, every Black kid in the world needs to listen to that CD twice a week for the rest of their life.
What's the name
every
of
Black
it again?
kid in America,
What's the name of?
Excuse me, Black Gene Lies.
Black Gene Lies. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So
and
definitely.
then there's a book that goes along with it. Yeah, which goes into great detail of each of these diseases. Each of these diseases is a chapter in the book. Okay. It goes into what nutrients and so forth and how to deal with this. We can add 25 healthy years to the Black community's life. And the reason why they are more impacted by this pandemic virus now is not because of race. Okay. It has nothing to do with race. It has to do with culture. It has to do with what they're eating.
Explain that to us. Oh my goodness.
Okay. Okay. What's the similarity between the Latino people, the Black people, and the Native Americans?
Well, I can't for the others.
What is their dietary habits?
I can tell you here in the Bahamas, fried food is a religion. We would try to fry water if we could. Everything that we have so much gluten in our diet, it's ridiculous. We believe in the macaroni and cheese, and we have a spaghetti, and we have a dish called guava duff, which is a wonderful dish.
Yeah.
Listen, gluten is everywhere in this country.
What about flour? What about flour tortillas?
Well, we don't do tortillas so much, but we do tarts, we do bread, we do cookies. Gluten and fried foods are a religion in the Bahamas. That's how serious
Do you
we
eat
are.
oatmeal for breakfast?
Oh, of course. We grew up on that. Oatmeal, cream of wheat, of course. Yes.
Well, there you go. And so if everybody would go to rice and live like an Asian, let me give you, if I may, a couple of comparisons here, okay? Quickly, let's look at Mexico versus Japan. That's about as extreme as you get. One is the extreme Asian, the other is the extreme Latino, okay? They both have about 128 million people, very similar populations. They have 1.9 million infections of the pandemic virus. Japan has 400,000, okay, about 25%. And the Mexicans have 166,000 dead, and the Japanese have 6,000 dead. Is there a difference between 6,000 and 166,000? Is there a difference between 1.9 million and 400,000? Well, the reason is the Japanese live on rice and sweet potatoes and seaweed. The Mexicans live on flour tortillas, pan, which is bread made from wheat, cerveza, which is beer, and even their famous beer is Corona beer for the coronavirus.
Yeah, that is, that's something to consider. But yeah, we're big beer drinking as well. We have lots of Vitamalts and Nutramalts. We drink a lot of malts from barley.
Let me give you one more. This is next to you. Let me give you one more here. Florida, you know where Florida is at, right?
Of course, yes.
Okay. Well, Florida has about 22 million people. Let's go to Taiwan, which has 23 million people. Asian versus USA. Okay. Taiwan has 924 infections of the pandemic virus and 9 dead. 9 dead. Florida has 1.8 million infections, 8,000 dead. Why does Florida have 28,000 dead and Taiwan has 9 dead? Not 9,000, not 900, just 9.
Wow.
Why is it that it has 1.8 million infections and Taiwan has 924?
Southern cuisine.
Well, that's because Taiwan, they don't need any gluten. They live on rice and potatoes and seaweed. They're getting all those trace minerals from the seaweed. And Florida is 40 to 60%, depending on what county you look at, Latinos, Black, and several different tribes of Native Americans. All these cultures that have terrible times with this pandemic virus. That's because they live on flour tortillas and bread and wheat beer. They roll all their fried foods in wheat flour to fry them, fried chicken, fried fish, okay, fried eggs, everything. as you said. So if Florida were to eat like the Taiwanese, eat rice and sweet potatoes, or eat the what they called the Three Sisters, until 1860, all the indigenous peoples on Earth ate the Three Sisters.
Which are?
They were cannibals? No. The Three Sisters are maize, aka corn,
Mm-hmm.
beans, and squash. Okay, now when you look at the individuals on Earth that have the lowest rate of the pandemic virus, you're looking at the Ojibwe Indians in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
The Ojibwe Indians in Minnesota. They started eating a certain way 400 years ago, and they've never stopped. They started eating wild rice. They went from Florida to upper Great Lakes areas in Minnesota to escape hurricanes and abuse by the settlers. And they got into the upper Great Lakes in the spring of 1600. 1600, okay, and they didn't have any money to buy land, so they lived around the lakes. They ate all the wild rice. And today they have 27 infections and 0 dead. 27 infections and 0 dead because they've been living on wild rice for 400 years. Now you compare them to the Navajo Indians with the same population as them, who since 1860, when the Scottish introduced wheat to them, living on wheat, they have 24,000 infections versus 27, not 27,000, not 2,700, but just 27. And 898 dead. 898 dead versus 0 dead.
Wow.
Same population as the Ojibways. So, if the people in the Bahamas were to switch to the Ojibwe diet and live on rice and sweet potatoes, the Three Sisters, okay, maize, beans, and squash, and seaweed, and of course, people inland, where are they going to get seaweed? Well, we have the Fucoid Z and gold, which I take 3 of each of those twice a day in addition to the 90. And that's why I don't have any problems. They say, Wallach, you're 82 years old. What do you mean you don't have any problems? I don't have any problems. I have an injury that most people would have died from. But I'm flourishing. I have no health challenges whatsoever at 82.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If I were to put my hands under, a projector or a screen someplace and ask the doctor, how old do you think this person is based on the quality of his skin and fingernails and things like that? And they say, well, he's got to be in somewhere between 30s and 50.
Wow.
So there you are.
This is, listen, when you said that on that call that day, I was like, OMG, because everybody around the world is talking about, we need a vaccine. We need a vaccine. We need a vaccine. And I have been trying to.
Can I stop you there?
Go right ahead.
Okay. Now, and we didn't kind of finish that. You have to absorb the nutrients, get to your bone marrow. Now, vaccines do not kill bugs. Vaccines do not kill viruses, bacteria, fungus, or yeast. Vaccines don't kill anything. They just enter into your body the DNA, RNA, and proteins of the viruses, bacteria, fungus, and yeast. Your body will recognize that as a foreign invader. So when the bug comes, your body sets up the white blood cells and the antibodies and red blood cells and platelets go run and kill and eat the virus.
Right.
Or the bacteria, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what if you can't, your villi are dead, your intestines can eat gluten for 15, 20, 30 years. Even if you're supplementing, you can't absorb nutrients. You're down to 2% absorption. And so your bone marrow has undergone what's called dysplasia, and that's why you're getting the iron shots and the B12 shots, and they're talking about bone marrow transplants.
Mm-hmm.
Or your bone marrow is dead. And no matter how many vaccines you got, if you cannot make antibodies and white blood cells to respond to the vaccine, as they say in French, you ain't got nothing.
Wow.
And that's the problem. So here's what I'm going to predict. I'm going to predict this, Michelle. There's going to be people, and I'm starting to hear this all the time, people call me crying, and they say, Doc, my mom, she was 75 years old. She got the vaccine 3 months ago, and she just died of COVID. How can that be? She eating gluten? Did she eat oatmeal for breakfast? Well, that was her favorite. She had oatmeal for breakfast every day of her life. Well, that's why she died. Because she could not respond. Her bone marrow could not respond to the vaccination. Vaccines do not kill the bugs. They just alert your body to bad things so you can go kill and eat them. But if you have your villi are all gone because you've been eating gluten for 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and you're going to find people who respond very nicely, and I guarantee it's going to be a high percentage of Asians and people who eat the Three Sisters and rice and all that kind of stuff, eat like an Asian. But people who eat like the people from the UK and Italy are time because their bone marrows are dead. They cannot respond to the vaccines. So you're already starting to see this. You may remember when they came out with the vaccines. Let's see here. The first one went away was Merck. They spent billions of dollars coming up with 2 vaccines. And the day they were supposed to release them, they pulled them off the market before they even released them. They didn't even give you a name. They said that's because they didn't hurt anybody, but we pulled them because they gave inadequate responses. Then Johnson & Johnson came out 2 weeks later and said, hey, we're 50% effective in the world. Okay. In the United States, we're 66% effective with our vaccine. Okay. So why is that? Well, that's because 100% of the people they did the studies in were over age 65 and eating gluten for 65 years. Okay, let's drop down now to, let's see here. Let's go to Moderna, and they say, hey, we're good. We are 94% effective. And everybody's, hey, boy, we got one 94% effective. Well, their study group, 79%, almost 80% were white. Blacks and Latinos were less than 9% in the study. 5% of their people they did research on were over age 65, whereas Johnson & Johnson was 100% over age 65. I guarantee you, so is Merck. Now here comes Pfizer. Pfizer comes out, the most recent one says, hey, we're 95% effective. But they only had 21% of their study group over age 65. You got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so this is why you're going to have a mixed response to these vaccines. And I'm already starting to hear this. I'm already starting to hear this all over the world. People are saying, well, why are we still having this? What happened here in the last couple of days? 2 days ago, the number of people in America, okay, with an infection was 26,539,000. Dead were 458,000. Today, the infection rate is 27,054,000, and the deaths are 465,700. Okay, so with all these vaccines going on, you'd think everything would slow down, but it didn't slow down the same rate. They said the rate's getting better. It used to be 100,000 a day new infections. Now it's 99,999. I believe you've got it, dear.
Wow, this is mind blown. Okay, because
okay,
wow.
Yeah, if everybody would take the 90, which is, you know, here's what I take. Okay, I weigh 142 pounds. I'm 82 years old. I don't have any health issues, but for 73 years I've been gluten free. I've been living like an Asian for 73 years. The Three Sisters, rice, sweet potatoes, all that kind of stuff, vegetables, seafood, nothing fried, okay, for 73 years. Then I've been taken because of my studies, and you didn't say when you gave my background that I'm a veterinarian.
Oh.
Well, you said I had a degree in agriculture, but I'm also a veterinarian.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that, yes.
And and so I have been taking the 90 essential nutrients, 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 3 fatty acids. And that's what my thesis is in the Smithsonian Institute as National Treasure. Now, here's one that will make you cry. Have you ever heard of cystic fibrosis?
I have.
Okay. Now, in 1978, I discovered the first non-human case of cystic fibrosis. I was working for NASA at the Yerkes Primate Center in Atlanta, Georgia. Okay. And I ran into the first baby monkey that had cystic fibrosis. I didn't tell anybody. I just sent slides of the pancreas and liver and stuff and the lungs to cystic clinics all over America, and they came back and said, oh, these are classic examples of cystic fibrosis. I didn't tell them it was a monkey. I just said, I think this is cystic fibrosis. What do you think? He said, yeah, this is cystic fibrosis. He told them it was a monkey, and it was the first non-human case. Oh, they were all excited. Okay, Wallach, this is beautiful. We can, get some genes, and we can do some study. I said, you're on. And then I got to do a biopsy. The other 24 baby monkeys in this colony there at Yerkes in Atlanta, Georgia, NASA, and all 25 had cystic fibrosis. None of them were related. They all had different mother, fathers. None of them were related. And anyway, I got it written up for publication, and they fired me. So, Wallach, you must be sniffing glue. Everybody knows it's a genetic disease. You can't say it's not genetic. And they fired me. And that's when I went back to school, and I was invited to teach nutrition at the naturopathic school and see what transfer credits you'll give me for my other degrees, agriculture and veterinary medicine, and my pathology stuff. And I'll take whatever courses I need to degree. In the meantime, I'll teach nutrition and biochemistry for you. And so in 1982, I became a naturopathic physician. Okay. And so that's how all this happened. Then in 88, Dr. Milan and I went to Qishan, China, and we did 1,700 autopsies on kids under the age of 10 who died of Qishan disease. Qishan disease is caused by deficiency of a single nutrient. And we did 1,700 autopsies, and it found out that 35% of them had cystic fibrosis, 100% had muscular dystrophy, and over 200 of them under the age of 1 year of age would have been diagnosed with Sundance syndrome here in America. To make a long story short, we got all that published in 1990, and it was like crazy. People went crazy, okay? And so in April 16th, 2013, April 16th, 2013, a federal court, based on that study with 1,700 kids, forced manufacturers of baby formulas, which I had been trying for 25 years to get them to put that one nutrient since the Yerkes thing in 1978, they into the baby formulas, Enfamil, Similac, and all the other baby formulas. Now here it comes. You ready for this, Michelle? Sit down.
I'm sitting.
Okay. A year and a half later, September 13th, 2014, headlines on the front page of the Charlotte Observer, kind of like the New York Times for Charlotte, North Carolina. We don't know why, but sudden death syndrome has disappeared and vanished in the state of North Carolina. 3 months later, in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, all the newspapers in Missouri, they came out and said, we don't know why, but sudden death syndrome has vanished in the state of Missouri. And every newspaper in the world came out 3 months later and said, we don't know why, but the diagnoses of sudden death syndrome has dropped dramatically by 85 to 95%. Well, that's because they put that one nutrient into the baby formulas. It was simply a nutritional deficiency. Only 2% of the babies were in bed with their mother when they died. 98% were not. But doctors said the mothers were laying on them because they didn't want to say, we don't know why they're dying.
We're supposed to take a break, but we're not taking a break because we only have Doc for the first hour. So I want to take up as much of the time that I have him for information. And then we'll take the breaks after, okay? But you, Doc Wallach, have been taking on the medical establishment for years. You even sued and won against the FDA. What, 7, 8 times? You won
12 times.
12 oh my
times.
goodness, 12 times. You sued the FDA and won your cases to get information to people. Because what I often say when I do my health coaching presentations is that a lot of people right now are suffering unnecessarily because of sheer arrogance and ignorance. And when I say that, here's what I mean. The medical doctor has been trained in allopathic medicine. They know zip about nutrition. Many of them are now taking a more proactive approach, a more integrative approach, and are welcoming, trying to learn more about nutrition. But in the 6 to 8 years of medical school, these doctors have not been trained in nutrition. And some of them today will even tell you, if you go to them, I have clients who introduce them to the 90 nutrients and they take it to the doctor and the doctor says, oh, that can't help you. But yet you're taking all of these pharmaceutical medications. You're not getting any better. I have one client who had to have 6 surgeries for the same condition that kept coming back. So clearly, what the medical establishment has been doing for all of these generations as it relates to non-communicable chronic disease is not working. They're very good for surgery when necessary. They're very good for trauma care. They are excellent when it comes to a handful of infectious diseases. But apart from that, if you have a chronic condition, you need to take another approach. And I find that...
Well,
yes, go ahead.
Let me jump in here if I may, because we only got a moment left.
Yes.
And so when this federal court forced these baby manufacturing companies, baby food manufacturing companies, put that nutrient into the baby foods, okay, I have to tell you, it happened, okay? Let's look at Marvin Ropp. He's a Navy SEAL. He's an Amish guy. and the Amish rate of muscular dystrophy. So he and I were working with these muscular dystrophy kids in the Amish communities in Utah and Idaho. And we were curing them like right, left, and center. In fact, the oldest one was 21 years old. He was born with muscular dystrophy and 31 years old in a wheelchair. And in a couple of weeks, we got him out of the wheelchair perfectly normal. When we gave all this information, about a dozen charts with saying we don't know why, but they don't have muscular dystrophy anymore. And they gave it to Jerry Lewis in 2011. He was so excited. He took it to the Muscular Dystrophy Association, whom he'd been doing telethons for years. You know about the telethons. Mm-hmm. And they fired Jerry Lewis because they said, Jerry, you've been sniffing glue. This is a genetic disease you can't say can be cured. So they fired Jerry Lewis in 2011. And that's why you haven't heard of the telethon anymore, because they had to shut down in 2015 because they couldn't raise any. Now, here comes the most recent piece on this. I get the chills, okay? Now, prior to this court action, April 16, 2013, when they forced the baby food manufacturing companies to put that nutrient into the baby foods, prior to that, 1 in 300 babies in America, 1 in 300 babies born in America died of a sudden death syndrome, SIDS. 1 in 300. I mean, that's mind-blowing. Well, you know what the rate is today? This was just published 2 days ago. 1 in 3,000. There's 1 in 3,000 in peer improvement over 1 in 300. And so I'm very, very proud of that. And so this is where nutrition can solve these problems. They can prevent and solve these problems. It's one of those things where it's absolutely unimpeachable evidence. Unimpeachable evidence, because it's people. And of course, you have you ever heard of Dan Buettner?
I have not.
Okay, Dan Buettner was the guy who came up with the 5 blue zones.
Oh yeah, you mentioned it on the show. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, the 5 blue zones. Dan Buettner. He was on the cover of a National Geographic magazine in 2005. He came up with the blue zones, and he said after studying them, this guy was an exercise physiologist. He says in studying them, the reason why these 5 cultures live so long has nothing to do with what they eat and where they live and all that kind of stuff. Is because they all found a way to be happy.
Yeah, we talked about that a little earlier on the show.
Yeah.
But okay, but Doc, I have a question coming in from a Facebook viewer, and I want you to address this. Okay. It says, when it comes to eating healthy, what is good for the goose is not necessarily good for the gander. It all depends on your blood type. What are your thoughts on that?
Have you ever heard of the science of crapola?
I have now. The science of crapola.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely.
All righty then.
That's nonsense. Okay, your blood type is a different issue totally, and let's look at something like sickle cell anemia.
Yes,
that's not a genetic disease in Black folks. It's a nutritional deficiency early in the embryonic life when the mother is forming the bone marrow tissue in the embryo, and she's missing a single nutrient. Okay. She's missing a single nutrient, and this nutrient is missing, and so those bone marrow cells are defective as a result of the nutritional deficiency. The baby's born with sickle cell anemia. Now, everybody knows that sickle cell anemia is a genetic disease in Black folks, right?
That's what they say.
It probably occurs in the Bahamas.
It does.
Okay, but it also occurs in white folks and Asian folks and Native Americans. So how did that happen? There could be a lot of Black men out there busy getting all these other women pregnant and all these other. Okay, so why are all these other people getting sickle cell anemia? Well, they couldn't do that. Thalassemia.
Same condition, different name.
Same condition, identical cause, but they gave it a different name because it flew in the face of their diagnosis. Just like I made them change the name before they actually knew what was going on with the sudden death syndrome, SIDS. And I proved to them that the mothers weren't laying on the babies, only 2% of their, and so they had to change the name to crib death, from sudden death syndrome to crib death, because 98% of them were in the cribs. Okay. So these things, and this is why Pastor was so excited, because I was able to prove to him and his doctors and his daughter's doctors that these diseases said to be genetic were not. And we could reverse them, and we did. And so I really appreciate you, allowing us to share time with you. And, we should do it again and find some way to get out to the Bahamas and put on some live events for you.
Listen, that would be so fantastic, honestly, because I have to tell you, Doc, I'm not just saying this, but your teachings and everything that I've learned through the Institute you have changed my life. This nutritional program literally helped to save my life when I was exposed to toxic mold. Literally, it was what
thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Yeah, I've seen people regrow cartilage. I've seen people. I have one client who has been on insulin for years, and the doctors could not get her blood sugar levels right. And after 1 day on our products, she sends me this photograph showing me a reading of her blood sugar levels. And she says, Michelle, it's not been this low in years. We only have a minute left. Yes,
Michelle,
go ahead.
I got one for you. Have you ever heard of dialysis for kidney
yes, sir.
failure dialysis?
Yes, sir.
I take people who have not urinated in 10 years. Okay, they're on dialysis 6 days a week. They're on dialysis 3 days a week for 20 years before that. They want to get a kidney transplant, so they just stayed on dialysis. And then the last 10 years, they're on dialysis 6 days a week because they hadn't urinated. I get them on our program. In 2 weeks' time, they're urinating, so they drop their dialysis down to 3 days a week, and in 2 more weeks, they're totally off of dialysis after 25 years. Okay? And it's because when you have kidney failure, there's nothing wrong with your kidneys. Actually, the arteries are blocked, and the dirty blood's not getting into the kidneys. And so that's why I, being a pathologist, I kind of looked at things and I say, well, there's nothing wrong with these kidneys. Why did you transplant them? Did you get them from the right person? And it wasn't the kidneys that was damaged. It was the arteries in the kidneys that were damaged. So I fixed the arteries, and then everything went right.
Oh, man, Doc, time has gone already. I know you have another show that you've got to get to. I'm really appreciative of time. We have people asking about specific conditions, but here's what I want to advise.
Well, that's what we have the books for.
Yes.
That's get them on the books and CDs and DVDs.
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody who's
get them started
interested
there.
Yeah, everybody who's interested in learning more. I know you, Doc. Thank you so much for being here. I know you got to go. He's gone. He did tell me that he could only give me the first hour because he does daily shows and he's a very busy man. But here's what we're going to do. If you have a chronic condition, because at the Institute of Holistic Health, where I was certified as a health coach, we were trained following Dr. Wallach's protocols. So if you have a health condition, chronic long-term condition, message me on Facebook. Don't put it out there for everybody to see, but send me a private message on my official Facebook page, or you can send, is it okay for them to send a text here and then you guys forward it to me? Okay, so put up the text line for me again, please. 828-2543. 828-2543 is the text line. Text and say, Michelle, please reach out to me about whatever. And then they will forward that text to my phone and I will get to you. Because here's what we do. We do not believe in just throwing things at people blindly. Everything that Doc Wallach teaches is that the 90 nutrients that your body needs, all of the 900 diseases that he found cures for, that he found a way to address, fall into one of four categories: the hard tissue category, the soft tissue category, digestive disorders, and blood sugar imbalances. So most diseases fall into one of those four categories. So our approach is to have you to complete a health evaluation, which you fill out online, and asking you what symptoms you're experiencing. And those symptoms then tell a story. We can look at your results and see, okay, you have a high number of this particular category, and that points us in the direction of what you need to be doing. So this is a very personalized, individualized approach. We do believe in managing illness, and that is what your medical professional does. They manage your illness. We believe in giving your body the nutrition it needs so that your body can correct the problem itself. That is our approach. I don't have been here for the whole first hour, but what he said about the reason why the vaccine will not be effective if you have a damaged digestive disorder from the damaged digestive system from eating gluten is mind-blowing. If you haven't already done so, like and share this show. We got to get people educated, man. The vaccine is not the savior of the world. And I hope you all realize that. And if you say, oh, Michelle, who is this man? Listen, Google him. Dr. Wallach is world renowned and respected for his work. And as a former pathologist, like he said, he was able to see many. This is how. Do you remember the story, the movie that Will Smith starred in, Concussion? Remember that? And how the doctor, who was a pathologist, realized on the autopsy table that there was something wrong with the brains of these football players. And he came up with the condition, and at first the establishment attacked him. Oh, you talking nonsense. That's foolishness. Da, 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 da. But he was able to see it on the autopsy table. Eventually, they had to admit that the man was right after vilifying him and castigating and trying to make him seem to be this. The man was absolutely right. It is through pathology that Doc Wallach was able to discover all of this, because he is able to see, well, both a combination of his work as a pathologist, all of the thousands of autopsies he performed, and also his work with the animals, them being able to cure many of these same conditions in animals that humans have been suffering with for so long. So before you try to take for gospel, I always tell people that all of my clients, you don't have to believe me. Do your own research. Take responsibility for your own health. Do not just take what you are told as gospel just because I hear this so much, but the doctors say, I'm saying, okay, so if you continue along what that doctor has been telling you, how come you're not getting any better? And again, I say it often that I am not trying to disparage doctors. They play an extremely important role. Surgery when necessary, trauma care, and some infectious diseases are there, as Dr. Peter Glynn would say, that's their wheelhouse. That's what they're very good at. Thank God for doctors. Because if you're in the middle of a heart attack, drinking the night ain't gonna help you at that moment. You need a doctor. If you just get involved in a very bad car accident, my God, you need to see a doctor. They play a very important. But people, when it comes to non-communicable diseases and this COVID situation, you better educate yourself. You just heard the man. That, to me, that's some serious revelation. Okay, so we didn't take a break for the full hour. We're going to take a couple of breaks, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to talk more about health and wellness and what you can do to protect yourself against COVID-19. Stay with us. This is Global Paradigm Shift GPS on Glory 93.9 FM.
Horton's Car Rental and Auto Sales, Robinson Road and 5th Street, The Grove, is your premium choice for affordable transportation. We have reliable cars at unbelievable prices. Ask about our daily rates, starting at $50, and our weekly rates, starting as low as $280. Call us at 437-4017 or 676-3977. Horton's Car Rental, your premium choice for affordable transportation.
At the Gladstone Road Farmers Market, we provide you with the freshest produce, eggs, meat, and more. But what you don't see makes a difference too, like the care our farmers put into growing and raising that food for your family, the fewer miles that food travels from the farm to your plate, and the dollars you are keeping in our local community. Our open-air market is every Friday and Saturday. Come visit us, and be sure to look for the GPS-endorsed flyer. COVID-19 has affected all of us, but it won't stop us from serving you with a smile, even under the mask. Gladstone Road Farmers Market, home of fresh.
Valentine's Day is only a few days away, so be sure to check out the Balloon People for your beautiful balloon arrangements and more for the very special people in your life. We're located in the Pineapple Bay Plaza, Soldier Road West. The Balloon People. Call 677-8677. That's 677-8677. The Balloon People.
At Lear, safety is our #1 priority. Flying since 1996, we offer scheduled flights into Fresh Creek and Mangrove Key Andros and Great Harbor Key, Berry Island, twice daily, 7 days a week. Affordable charter services are also available to anywhere in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. Lee Air Charter Services. Call 225-3267, 702-7127, or 322-1317 for reservations.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
And we're back. This is GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Glory 93.9 FM. I am your host, Michelle Malcolm. So thrilled that for the first hour of the show, if you missed it, boy, did you miss some serious information. Luckily, this video is going to be up on Facebook. So like and share the show, people. Like and share the show. Get the word out that Dr. Joel Wallach was the guest for our first hour here on GPS Global Paradigm Shift on this Wellness Day. And in case you missed it, he gave us some mind-blowing information as it relates to why certain people are more impacted by COVID-19 and the effectiveness of the vaccine. And it's all tied back to gluten. And just to recap, what he would have said is that, okay, so let me explain the importance of not having gluten in your diet. The gluten protein is made up of a daisy chain. It's like a daisy chain of amino acids that these amino acids that are connected by a string, almost a string of pearls. Okay. And what ideally should happen when you consume gluten is that your digestive system should break down those amino acids so that they can be absorbed into the body to be used by the body, as Doc Wallach would have explained. The problem is, though, I want you to imagine that you get yourself a vacuum cleaner and you try to vacuum up a string of pearls. It's going to clog up the gears, right? Now, if those pearls were separated, the vacuum would have no problem vacuuming it up. It's the same thing with the gluten protein. Because they're daisy chained together, when your body tries to digest that, it causes major problems for your gut. It causes major problems for your digestive system. Your body can't digest it. And so you are literally damaging the villi. The villi are these they're these things called tight joints. It's like these tight joints that are together that are supposed to absorb the nutrients into your body. And finger-looking things called the villi, and the villi are the apparatus that are responsible for absorbing the nutrients, right? But when you eat gluten, because it's a daisy chain together and your body can't break it down, it literally damages the villi to the point where those tight joints that aren't supposed to let anything through start to loosen up, and things start slipping into your bloodstream that aren't supposed to be there, right? Now, Doc Wallach just brilliantly explained how that impacts your bone marrow not being able to do its job. So the bone marrow is dead, okay? But when you develop that condition, it's called a leaky gut. That leads to all manner of disease, all manner of problems for your body. It affects every major system of your body. So gluten, he explained, if you're not absorbing the nutrients that you're supposed to be absorbing because your villi is damaged, because you're eating gluten, so you're not getting into your bone marrow, which should be there so your bone marrow can function. And so even if you're taking a vaccine with this problem, oh man, that my mind is like literally blown. I'm going to have to watch this show like 3 and 4 times to hear this again and again and again. You understand the connection, people? This is how serious this is. A lot of people are asking about different conditions. What I'm going to do is I'm going to dedicate every Wednesday to a different condition. I see some of you asking about dementia. Yes, that can be addressed with nutrition because there's several different types of dementia. One of them is related to a deficiency of cholesterol and essential fats. It'll blow your mind, people. It'll blow your mind. But before we get into all of that, go to my next clip because obviously, you know, we have to talk about health in general and how you are, what you can do to better protect yourself against COVID-19. And that's the whole point of today's show. And I knew that people would be blown away with the gluten connection because who would have thunk it? Who would have thought that gluten had anything to do with COVID-19? But it's deep, people. This is some powerful information. But I want to go to my second clip. This is clip number 2 with Dr. Peter Glidden. And he's also going to be talking about COVID-19 and your health in general. So let's go to clip number 2.
Your medical doctor may be the nicest person that God ever created, but your medical doctor doesn't practice medicine. Your medical doctor practices allopathic medicine, MD-directed pharmaceutical centrist medicine, which is fantastic for trauma care, emergency medicine, and surgery when it's necessary. But medical doctors don't practice health care. They practice disease management. So you go to them, you've got a lung condition, the medical doctor has no idea what causes it and no idea how to cure it, so they just give you drugs to manage it. And as you take the drugs to manage the problem, you get sicker and sicker and weaker, and then you get hit by something with the coronavirus, and it's not good. So, you know, this person ostensibly spending hundreds of thousands of dollars throughout his life for medical insurance for himself and his family was left high and dry by a conventional medical system. And this is the problem, ladies and gentlemen. The problem here, as outlined by the coronavirus, is not that there's a virus going around the country. It's that we don't have a free medical market. And the medicine that everybody has access to, the medical doctors are not trained how to cure things, or in this case, how to strengthen this guy's respiratory system. The naturopathic doctors do, licensed and regulated naturopathic doctors, but we're only allowed to practice in 20 states in the United States. Does that mean that the laws of nature or science change because you cross a state line? No. It's a reflection of the extreme monopolization of the medical marketplace, which has existed, by the way, since 1912. That's 108 years of medical market monopolization. And this monopoly is so strong and embedded into the cultural ethos that most people are not even aware that it's a monopoly. They're just completely unaware of it. So, as you know, Alzheimer's skyrockets and autism skyrockets and no change in heart disease after 50 years of statin drugs, instead of criticizing the medical marketplace inside of which all of this happened, people give the MDs a pass. And this can only happen inside of a monopoly. And you marked my words, as more and more people get sick, I'm telling you that it is a function of the monopolization of the medical marketplace. We need to let the naturopathic doctors to the table. We need to let the naturopathic doctors treat these people. We need to let naturopathic medicine be licensed in all 50 states and naturopathic medical treatments be covered by insurance providers, for goodness sakes. This is what needs to happen. And when I see people being hammered by the coronavirus, I think, well, another failure of conventional medicine, for goodness sakes.
All right, so that was Dr. Peter Glidden, who's also a very well-known naturopathic doctor. Here's the thing, people. You got to wake up, man. You can't just continue to be comatose and not take responsibility for your own health. If we're going to be honest about this, then you've heard them say this thing is not going to be, when I say this thing, I'm talking about the vaccine. This is not going to be 100% effective. There's no guarantee that it will deal with the mutated version of the virus. So you take it today, it may not work for the version of the virus that comes out tomorrow. And you just heard Doc Wallach say, even if you if you take this vaccine, but you have a damaging gluten and your bone marrow is dead because it can't do what it's supposed to do because you're damaging your gut and your gut can't absorb it. Vicious cycle that will not make a difference. People, we have to take responsibility for our health. Educate yourself. Don't just like blind sheep. You ever seen sheep going? They all just quietly following. And the last, what always amazes me, the sheep that gets right, like the last one before the next one is slaughtered, will stand right there and watch that sheep be slaughtered and won't try to run away. It just stand there and won't try to run away. And this is where you get that saying, like leading sheep to slaughter. We have to stop being sheep, people. You have to stop letting these people shove this stuff down your throat without at least giving it some thought as to what is really going on. Dow Regis said the other day that the cruise ships are already telling you that you're going to have a vaccine and a certification to say that you've been vaccinated to get on a cruise ship. We've already heard the airlines starting to say the same thing. And then she says the other day during the press conference that countries are now discussing this. And this certification might be necessary for future travel. In other words, in case you were snoring during that press conference, in other words, we are now moving to the time when they're going to tell you, you cannot get on this plane unless you take this vaccination. You cannot get on a cruise ship unless you take this vaccination. You cannot come into my country unless you take this vaccination. And then I dare say we're going to get to the point of you can't walk into the food store unless you take this vaccination. You can't work unless you... People, y'all can't see what time it is? Open your eyes. Wake up. Y'all can't see what's going on here? This has less and less to do and more to do with power and control. Wake up. You don't have to be a genius to figure out what's going on here. The science isn't adding up. Doctors say, why are we being silenced when we try to bring up other treatments that have been proven effective, have been for other things for years? So you can't say, oh, that medication is dangerous, because we've been using it for other conditions for years. Things like ivermectin, for instance. Why are we being silenced? Why is there not encouragement to say, well, let's try this to see if this is, in fact, if this has a success rate that so many doctors are saying it does? Why? Because that's not a part of the agenda. That's not a part of the agenda. And if you can't see that there's an agenda going on here, you don't want to see it. You don't have a genius to figure this out. And quite frankly, when I hear some of the things that they're putting out there, I like the terminology that Dr. Wallach used, the science of crapola. The science of crapola. They try to shove crap down your throat, and some of you all right there wide open. Think, people. Think. The information about gluten, like I said, when I heard that at that graduation ceremony, I was like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe that. I was like, I got to get this man on the show. And I will tell you my own story with gluten. Like I said, while he was on, gluten, that's our national religion. Fried food and gluten. What? You can't have a Bahamian meal without some form of gluten in there. That's just how we eat, right? Well, I was a health coach. I knew better. I hadn't been certified until July of last year, but I was still eating the gluten. I knew better. I heard all of Doc Wallach's teachings about the gluten and why you should avoid it. I didn't hear the thing about the COVID connection until just recently. But I knew that gluten was bad. But I kept eating it. Why? Because I love guava duff, and I love bread, and I love cookies, and I love all these bad things that I knew were not good for me, but I would still eat it. Right? Because I love it. And every time I went around my family and my friends, you can't have a celebration without something with gluten on the plate. And so I was eating it. And some mornings, I would wake up in the middle of the morning with intense pain in my gut. I mean, pain that wakes you up out of your sleep. That's how bad it was. Really, really bad stomach issues, right? And I would often say when I got around friends and they would have all of the chips, and when I say, tortilla chips or whatever, I would say, oh, I know I'm going to pay for it, but I'll just eat it and pay for it later. And boy, would I pay for it. I knew it was doing damage, but I was still eating it, right? So during the first long lockdown last March, I think it was March when we did a long lockdown, I decided, you know what? This is an opportunity for you to stop eating gluten. You're not going to be around family. You're not going to have any temptation around you. This is an opportunity for you to truly get gluten out of your diet. So I got rid of everything in my house that had gluten. And I went out and I bought the gluten-free flour and the gluten-free everything gluten-free. Because he's right. The way we do fried chicken, we dip it in the flour first, right? So all of these are ways you're getting gluten into your diet. So I cut all the gluten out, completely cut it out. Not only did I stop having pain in the middle of the night, not only did that just completely go away, but I noticed that the bloating was gone, all the stomach issues I was having was gone, and then I started losing weight. In addition to cutting out the gluten, I also started to take a product that we have in Longevity called Microbiome, which heals your gut. It's one of the products that we have that literally will heal the villi that's been by the gluten. And so I stopped with the gluten and I started healing the gut, and the weight melted away. If you have a damaged gut, one of the reasons why you may be dealing with obesity is because you can't absorb the nutrients from the foods and the supplements that you're taking. Your body can't absorb it because your villi is damaged. So you're constantly hungry because your body is looking for these nutrients from somewhere. And so even after you eat, a short while later, you're still hungry again because your body is looking for the nutrients. No, that didn't do it. Let's try something else. So people, you really, really, really got to get rid of the gluten. I am sorry to all of the bakeries out there. Listen, man, start making gluten-free products and sell that. It costs a little bit more money, but please. And I'm sorry if I'm offending any of y'all out there, but it is what it is. The truth has a new home, and I bring in truth to y'all today. Gluten is the devil. Bad news. Because it damages the very apparatus that your body uses to absorb nutrients. And that ultimately leads to dead bone marrow, as Doc Wallach explained. And that means that even if you take a vaccine, because your bone marrow is dead because of the damage from the gluten, then it's a total waste of time. Mind blown. People, like and share this show. Get the information out. People need to know the truth and stop following behind these people like sheep being led to the slaughter. Educate yourself. The Bible says they shall know the truth and the truth shall set them free. Free yourself, man. Educate yourself. And you see, you're not going to hear what Doc Wallach said on this show today in mainstream media. You're not going to hear that from the doc. You're not going to hear it because that's not a part of the agenda. And this is an agenda, people. Educate yourself, people. We got to take a break because I have to make up for the break that I did not take in the first hour of the show. So let's take another break, and then we're going to come back and talk more about general health and wellness and how to protect yourself against COVID-19. Stay with us.
Bishop Denzel Rowe, General Superintendent and the Executive Council of the Highway, invites you to attend its 56th Annual General Convention under the theme, Arise, A Call to Duty. Convening February 17th through 21st, 6:30 at Southland Church of God, Soldier Road. Speakers include Bishop Denzel Rowe, Bishop Carvin Bain, Pastor Rakino Malker, Bishop Robert McPhee, and Bishop Eric Josie. There will also be a special midday oil and water service on Thursday, the 18th at 12 p.m. with Apostle Raymond Wells. That's the Highway Church of God Bahamas' General Convention, February 17th through 21st, nightly at the Southland Church of God. It's time to arise.
Looking for an extraordinary junior high school with caring, qualified staff and affordable tuition? Then come visit us at Elite School of Excellence, an affiliate of First Step Academy. ABECA focused and Ministry of Education approved, we foster discipline, integrity, and wisdom while molding our students for success. Call us at 341-8846 or stop by First Step Academy schools on Fire Trail and Soldy Roads for more information. Escape from the city life to Bacon Air Beach Resort in Pirateswell, Mayaguana. Relax in one of 16 air-conditioned rooms just steps away from the ocean. Enjoy scrumptious dishes in our waterfront dining room. Sip on a tropical cocktail, or if you must, stay connected with wireless internet. Nestled on one of the most beautiful beaches in the Bahamas, Bacon Air Beach Resort offers a unique vacation experience. For reservations, call 339-3726 or 463-0182.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 hyperimmune egg powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
We are back. The telephone line to call 828-3543, 828-3543. Give us a call. I will try to answer any questions that you may have about your health in general. 3543, and the text line is 828-2543, 828-2543. Somebody sending me a text asking, what did I use to heal my gut? That same product you just saw advertised, microbiome, that's what I use to heal my gut. That and stopping the gluten. And, I often get clients that we could always tell when somebody has a gluten insensitivity, and I say, okay, you got to cut out the gluten. And they say, well, I don't eat that much, only every now and again. And I say, okay, but you got to cut it completely out of your diet. Well, I don't get that much of it, and just one little bit of anger, right? And I say, okay, let me ask you something. Can you be a little bit pregnant? They say, of course not. Either you're pregnant or you ain't, right? You can't just eat a little bit of gluten every now and again, and it ain't that much, and expect to have you got to cut it completely out of your diet. There's no little bit. It's only a little bit of that one little bit ain't gonna hurt. Yes, it will. I learned this from this illustration from Dr. Peter Glidden. I want you to imagine that you take a hammer, and if I said this on the show before, please bear with me, but not everybody would have heard all of my shows in the past, so I may say some things that you would have heard before, but it is what it is. So imagine you take a hammer and you take your arm, and every day you hit your arm with that hammer in the same spot. So let's say you eat gluten 3 times a day. So every time, so you take that hammer and you hit yourself in the arm on that same spot 3 times a day. 1, 2, 3. So after the first day, you might get a little redness. After the second, third day, you're going to get some bruising. Every day you're hitting yourself on your arm, same spot. 1, 2, 3, every single day. After about a month, you're going to have yourself a real problem. After a couple of years, if you still have an arm left, that arm is going to be in really bad shape, to the point where that may have to be removed or something because you've done so much damage to your arm. Just hitting it, same spot, 3 times. This is exactly what you are doing when you eat gluten. You're damaging the apparatus that is responsible for absorbing nutrients into the body every day. 1, 2, 3. You're nailing it with a hammer. I want you to imagine that. See, you could see what's happening to your arm if you do that. So after the first week, okay, this is kind of stupid to continue to do this. And so you stop because you can see that. But you can't see the damage you're doing to your gut. So because I often get the question when I go someplace and they offer me something with gluten, I say, no, thanks, I don't eat gluten. This one little bit wouldn't hurt. Yes, it would. But just because you can't see it, you're not thinking about the damage that is doing to your body. Now you know that could make you more susceptible to being very ill from COVID-19. Anything with gluten tastes that good? I had a client last evening, and she says, well, I've cut gluten out of my diet, It's just that I eat cookies. I said, well, then you ain't got it out your diet. Yeah, but I don't know if I could give up cookies. I say, well, they must be some incredibly good cookies. Those cookies are so good that you're willing to damage your health for them? She says, well, when you put it that way, I said, well, how else should I put it? You're trying to tell me that macaroni and cheese is so good that it is worth you damaging your health. That guava duff, and trust me, guava duff is my kryptonite. I had to figure out how to make it without gluten, which is easy with gluten-free flour. Okay, so that tastes that good that you're willing to risk your health for it? It's that good? Must be some good cookies. For you to decide with this knowledge that you're going to continue to eat that. And sometimes it's just a lack of knowledge. The Bible tells you my people perish for a lack of knowledge. So some people just don't know any better. My job is to give you information today so you know better. And if you choose, after getting this knowledge, to continue to eat that stuff, that on you. Nothing in the world tastes as good as I feel right now. Nothing. No, I have, and listen, I have my late Aunt Patricia Glinton. That woman could make a duff. Oh my God, her duff was ridiculously good, right? As much as I loved my Aunt Pat stuff, with the knowledge that I have now, ain't no duff tastes as good as I feel right now. It's just not worth it. I'm at the point right now where I kind of almost scared to eat that stuff because I feel so good now. And I'm thinking the minute I eat that again, I'm going to go back to waking up in the middle of the morning, bent over with pain. And I don't want to go back to that. It's just not worth it to continue to eat gluten. And now with the information that Doc shared today, I just ain't touching that now. So I want you to understand that there are over 900 diseases, as he would have pointed out, that are all a result of a nutritional deficiency, including many of the ones that you think are not. It's a deficiency. Give your body what it needs, your body corrects itself. But no amount of nutrition can outdo a poor diet. So you got to clean up the diet. You got to stop eating the bad foods. The bad foods are helping to keep your body damaged, whereas the good foods, and there are good foods out there that you can and should eat, will actually help your body to repair itself. I'll give you one. Eggs, organic eggs, are very good for you. The whole egg, not just the whites, are very good, especially because I see a lot of people asking about dementia, especially if you have dementia and Alzheimer's. Because the myelin in your brain has been damaged when you have certain types of dementia. And so you have to replenish that. And myelin is mostly cholesterol. So 75% of your brain is myelin, and that's what we call the white matter, and that is 90% cholesterol. So when you lower the cholesterol level too low in your body, then you start to have cognitive issues because that's what myelin is made out of. So one of the first things you can do is, like, if you have somebody who has like serious issues with dementia, memory, put them on 8 to 10 eggs a day. Right. Poached, boiled, or if you must, scramble them, just lightly scrambled in butter, not oil. Okay? And you would be surprised from that alone that you will start to see a difference in that person. Now, we obviously have other things as well that we would recommend for persons who have brain issues, whether it's Parkinson's, whether it's dementia, Alzheimer's. We have stuff that we would recommend that will help to rebuild the brain. But just adding eggs, organic, real eggs, not that powder egg. I talk about real eggs. You'd be shocked at how much just that would make a big difference in that person's condition. There's a lot of information out there, people. And again, I want to put out some numbers that you can send us. It's either 828-2543, 828-2543. It doesn't matter the age, you want to know. 828-25, you mean number of eggs? Anyway, we'll talk about that after, because I have your contacts. We'll talk about that off air. But no matter how, I'm not sure what you mean, does it matter the age? Just know this. No matter how old you are, your body can heal. No matter how sick you are, your body can heal. But you need to give it the support it needs to heal. And you need to not do the bad stuff. And you need to make sure you're in a good, clean environment. Because sometimes environmental toxins to the illness that you're experiencing. Mold is a big one that will keep you sick. And no matter how much nutrition you take, the nutrition will, but eventually the mold is going to win. So you got to make sure you're in a good, clean environment. You got to make sure you have a good, clean diet. And you got to nutrify your body. And if you do those three things, your body has the ability to heal itself, no matter how old you are. We are healing machines. But we have to give our bodies the support that they need to heal. Again, the number is 828-3543. If you call me, I can answers whatever questions you may have, if it's about general health or, just what Dr. Wallach revealed about the connection between gluten and the coronavirus. Whatever you want to talk about today, this is an open line dedicated to wellness because it's Wellness Wednesday. So again, the number to call is 828-3543, 828-3543. And the text line is 82543. 828-2543. And oh my goodness, let's take a quick break because my battery is dying on this laptop. I got to quickly plug this in. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back after this.
Car Rental and Auto Sales, Robin Road and 5th Street, The Grove, is your premium choice for affordable transportation. We have reliable cars at unbelievable prices. Ask about our daily rates, starting at $50, and our weekly rates, starting as low as $280. Call us at 437-4017 or 676-77. Horton's Car Rental, your premium choice for affordable transportation.
Ocean blue is the best food, hey, hey. Fresh out the water and affordable too, yeah. We got fish, conch, lobster, shrimp, everything you want. Ocean blue got it. Ocean friendly and clean, best service you ever seen. Ocean blue is the best in seafood, yeah. Fresh out the water and affordable too, yeah. Seafood, we are here for you. Ocean blue seafood, no one else will do.
For all your building needs, it's Carib Construction and Project Management on Gladstone Road. We build it all: schools, homes, hotels, and more, including structures requiring a Phase 3 electrical contractor. We also provide project management services. The first step towards your dream building begins at Carib Construction and Project Management. Call us at 376-1556 or 341-4466. Want to look your best and feel even better? Visit J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa for the ultimate beauty, body, and anti-aging treatments, offering custom colors, haircuts, vegan anti-freeze treatments, silk blowouts, natural and acrylic nails, unisex pedicures, facials, and massages, all waxing services, and microcurrent therapies for anti-aging and body sculpting. J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madeira Street, telephone 326-7863.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on this Wellness Wednesday. I'm your host, Michelle Malcolm, and this is Glory 93.9 FM. Guess truth has a new home. I bring in all the truth to you all today as it relates to your health and this COVID-19 situation and the connection with gluten, people. Gluten. Who knew? Oh, my goodness. Let me go to a couple of your comments before I do. The telephone line to call 828-3543. 828-3543 is the number to call. The text line is 828-2543. 828-2543. I see a lot of people commenting about specific conditions. Here's what I want you. WhatsApp 805-6430. 805-6430. Send a WhatsApp message. Say your name, say you've been listening to the show and what your condition is, whatever. And we're going to get you guys on a health evaluation, okay? Because the health evaluation is where it all begins. Because you have to understand that whatever condition you're dealing with, you didn't just wake up and have it one day. That's been something that's been developing for a long time. So you've got some chronic stuff going on in your body that you need to correct. And once you correct that, then it deals with the actual disease. That disease is a symptom of the fact that your body has, you didn't just wake up and voila, you have a disease. No, you've been working towards that. That's something that has been going on in your body for a long time. And then the disease is just the final, step of, when I say final step, I'm not saying that you were going to die or anything, but it is the manifestation of all of those years of your body being damaged. Okay. So it's just a matter of giving your body what it needs to support itself, and your body will correct itself. I've seen people heal from the most amazing things. I have a client who the doctor told them that they had to have surgery on their spine, sciatica. And long story short, no surgery, got them on some nutrition, and their spine healed. Okay, let's go to a couple of your comments. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, so Anastasia D. Caden says, I decided healthier after I saw that the medication I was taking gave me side effects, and the doctor don't have a cure for lupus. Prednisone does not cure any lupus patients. It sure does not. They manage illness. That's what they do. They manage your illness, okay? There is no pharmaceutical, apart from antibiotics, which cure some infections, etc. But apart from that, there's no pharmaceutical that will heal you of anything. They manage symptoms. You have to understand the difference. There's a big difference. Okay, so we see where Patrona Brown says, good info, the health of a nation is the wealth of a nation. Yeah, that's a great slogan. I just wish we would take it more seriously and really invest in the health of our people. Because then we would see a huge difference, I believe, in productivity. I mean, so much. But you got to get people who understand that, who are sitting in positions of authority, who can make decisions as to what we can do to get our people healthier. Linda Roca is asking, kidney failure. Plenty of people in the Bahamas have it. Yeah, you must have missed a part of the show when Doc Wallach was talking about kidney failure. There's nothing wrong with the actual kidneys, but it's a blockage to the kidney that causes that. And so the key is to unblock it, unblock the channels that get the dirty blood to the kidneys, and then your body will function. Doc Wallach talked about that earlier in the show. Like and share the show, people. Information has to get out. We have to get our people informed about health in general, and what you can do to keep yourself healthier. Rashay Sands, hey Rashay, says, thank you, Michelle. In total agreement, great information. Glad you enjoyed it. Please like and share the show. Get people educated on this. Okay, again, the number, Lisa Ferguson, is 805-6430. Send me a WhatsApp message and I will be able to message you. Marilyn Harris. Marilyn is one of our coaches. Hey, Marilyn. Marilyn says, I'm loving this. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Marilyn, for being here. She's out of the States. Alex says, people, we have to realize that we are animals. God created us to eat fruits, vegetables, plants, and water. Dr. Wallach studied animals. I'm an animal. What are you? Yeah, we're all vertebrates. And as he said, these same diseases exist in the animal kingdom. So that should tell you it's not genetics. But what would they do? They changed the name of the disease. Wow. I got to see how often I can get Doc Wallach back on. Let me tell you, this man is 82 years old, and he is going all the time. He still hosts, I think, a daily radio show. This is why he couldn't give a full 2 hours, because he had other stuff going on. He's always doing calls and lectures and still going strong at 82. And he often says that people tell you that it's bad luck or genetics or a normal part of aging when you have these diseases. It's not true. We are so used to being sick that we think it's normal. I want to repeat that. We are so used to being sick that we think it's normal. It is not. It is not. Let's see. Let's go further down to some more of your comments. Again, our telephone line is 828-3543, 828-3543. Give me a call. We've only got, about 14 minutes left in the show. If you have a question about a particular condition, I will do my best to answer that for you. So give me a call, 828-3543, or text 828-2543, 828-2543, or WhatsApp 805-6430, 805-6430. Let's see. Jacqueline Maynard is another one of our coaches, says, remove the shield from your eyes. Thanks, Jackie, for being here. Let's see the down and get one or two more of your comments. Jacqueline also says, great education session. I'm doing my best. We got to get the word out, y'all. People to understand that you can heal. No matter how old you are, you can heal. I have Nicole, Erna, May, Francis, says, great show today. Continue to share the knowledge. Blessings from St. Martin. Wow. Thank you for joining me, Nicole, all the way from St. Martin. And Patrona says, food for thought. Nothing tastes as good as you feel. I serious. And let me tell you something. Tough was my kryptonite. What? My Aunt Pat used to make a duff. Oh, Lord have mercy. Used to be so good. When I went off to college, one of my cousins was a stewardess at Bahamas Air at the time, and they used to fly to Jersey. I went to school in New Jersey, and she used to every Sunday on that flight, she used to have to bring me my Sunday dinner and my guava made by Aunt Pat every single Sunday. And I would drive from Montclair, New Jersey, all the way to Newark to get my home cooked meal every Sunday. So my Aunt Pat, well, I come from a family of really great cooks. My Aunt Pat was an incredible cook. And her duff, Lord have mercy, so good. And I just had to come to the decision. Ain't no duff in the world tastes as good as I feel. No cookies taste as good as I feel. No bread tastes as good as I feel. No macaroni and cheese tastes as good as I feel right now. I am not willing to take that risk to eat something that's going to wake me up in the middle of the night with pain. And it's just amazing how once you heal your gut, how much better you feel overall, not just digestive issues, but overall, how much better you feel. When you are now able to absorb nutrients, because a lot of you out there may be taking vitamins, and this is not all vitamins are created equal. So you have some nutrition that is, because it's formulated from minerals in their raw state, your body can't absorb it to begin with. So you're talking about like a lot of that over-the-counter stuff y'all buying. A lot of that, your body's only, if your gut wasn't damaged, your body would only be able to absorb about 10% of it because of how it's formulated from raw minerals. So you're already down to 10%. And then on top of that, you have a damaged gut. So that takes you down to about 2%. So you're buying this bottle of thing and it says 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C. And you're feeling good because you're thinking you get 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C. But truth be told, it's not what you take. It's what your body can absorb. It's not what you take. It's what your body can absorb. So you may be taking vitamins, but if your body, if your gut is damaged, you're not absorbing the nutrients from those vitamins you're taking. And you cannot get everything you need from food, even if you eat organic. It is impossible to do so. Impossible. So most people walking around the earth are nutrient deficient. And when you see the manifestation of all of these non-communicable diseases, it's because they are nutrient deficient. Bottom line, give the body what it needs, the body fixes itself. We have this incredible thing called an immune system that the ultimate manufacturer put into our bodies, and but it needs the support to do so. Anastasia again says, I believe in nutrition, prevention, and hygiene. Nobody's the same, but we all need nutrition. This is exactly right. I've heard people say, when it comes to mold as an example, some people say, well, how come it's not affecting me? Like some people think that's all in your head because it's affecting them. And I say to them, okay, so me and you sharing the same body, eh? Why are you expecting my body to react to something the same way your body reacts to it? And if your body doesn't react to it that way, then you think I'm crazy because I'm having a problem. That doesn't make sense, people. We don't share bodies. We are all in our own individual bodies. So whereas everybody is different, we all need to be nutrified. We all do. So Margot Marie is saying, wow, it's not what you take, it's what your body can absorb. A healthy gut is critical. That is absolutely correct. So you may be taking the vitamins thinking, but I taking vitamins, but yet you eating bread and pasta and duff and tart and macaroni and cheese and cookies and crackers. And you wondering why you ain't getting no better. People, you got to take it seriously. You have to take it seriously. Gregory Arindel, great moments in our lives with this straightforward revolution for our health, libations as our government and our healthcare system insurance is not healing us, but financially destroying us. Did you know that the number one reason for bankruptcy in the United States is medical treatment? The number one bankruptcy in the United States is medical treatment. Marinate on that for a while. Yeah. They are in the business of managing your illness. I hate to tell you. Not in the business of you. So again, people, you can't be like the sheep heading to the slaughter and you see that one in the front there getting his neck cut and you sitting right there waiting, saying, I guess I next. You better wake up. Wake up, people. When it comes to this coronavirus and COVID-19 and vaccine, etc., wake up. Educate yourself. I jumped through hoops to get Dr. Wallach on this show today because that information about that gluten connection, I've never heard that anywhere else. And I thought to myself, oh my God, I have to get this knowledge to the people. Now, what you do with that on you. We have a saying, you could take a horse to the water, but you can't make it drink. That on you. I've brought you the information. It's up to you to take that information and apply it. Anastasia says, I love Italian food, but it gives me a constipation problem. And now you know why. Now you know why. That Italian food that you love is clogging up your gears. So does that Italian food taste as good as making you, is it so good that it's worth making you constipated? It's worth clogging up your gears. It's worth damaging your villi. It's worth making you more susceptible to COVID-19. That's some doggone good pasta. If your answer is yes. Oh, you meant to say liberation, Gregory? I was wondering what you was trying to say. Yeah. That must be some pretty good pasta if your answer is still yes after receiving this knowledge today. If you still decide I can stick my my bread and I can still eat my tart and I can still eat my cookies and I can still eat my fritters and I can still eat, well, they must be some of the best fritters ever made in the history of the entire world. They must be that good to let you decide that it's worth your health. Just remember that illustration of the hammer and your arm. Because just because you can't see it doesn't mean the damage is being done. And now we know, I still can't get over that, the connection to COVID. And the fact that if you continue to eat that gluten, it's going to make the vaccine less effective for you anyway, because your bone marrow would be pretty much dead from years of eating gluten. Is it worth it, people? I've made a decision. It ain't worth it for me. So my hope today is that you will make that same choice, that you will decide that it's not worth you damaging your health just because you like pasta. because you have other options out there. You have gluten-free flour. You have, so I saw something about an artichoke heart pasta. I got to go look for that. They say you can't tell the difference, but it's not gluten. I really got to go look for that to see if I can find some of that in the food store so I can try that. Because I ain't gonna lie, I loved pasta, loved, you know. But hey, didn't love me back, and I could always tell right after I eat that thing, my stomach would swell up. I'd be walking around with a swollen stomach. That should tell you something wrong. It's not normal. All y'all fellas out there who got the bare belly, that's from gluten. Because bare malts are made from barley. And remember the four he said, wheat, barley, rye, and oats contain gluten. So that bare gut you carrying around is an indication of how damaged your gut is. That bear tastes not good? Sorry to all the liquor companies out there. But I just got to tell the truth. So again, the numbers to send a message if you are interested in learning more about a particular condition, text us at 828-2543, 828-2543, or WhatsApp 805-6430. 805-6430 is the number to WhatsApp, and try to get some information to you as quickly as we can. Or alternatively, send us a private message here on my official Facebook page, and I will get to you that way as well. Okay, so that is pretty much going to do it for today's show. Tomorrow on GPS, we're going to be talking about oil drilling in the Bahamas. To understand that, because a lot of people are celebrating that they didn't find any commercial oil, they say, in the well that they drilled and they capped it. But did y'all realize that does not mean that it's over as it relates to their presence in the Bahamas? Is it over? Are y'all celebrating too soon? Or is there something else that could be coming out? That's what we're going to be looking at on the show tomorrow. So make sure you tune in. Thank you, Anastasia. Anastasia says, very good show. Where did it go? Why didn't it coming up? Okay, very good show. Thank you very much. Thank you, Anastasia, for tuning in. Thanks to everybody who tuned into the show today. Let's a big hand to Dr. Joel Wallach for bringing us some real knowledge. And I got to get him back on. And a big, huge thanks to all of our sponsors for making today's show possible. Thank you if you just listened on radio on Glory 93.9 FM, or if you're watching us here on Facebook, or if you're on TuneIn app. Thank you so much for being a part of the show today. Like and share the show, people. We got to get the knowledge out. Share this with your friends, especially those who are battling any kind of non-communicable disease, and those who are worried about COVID, and those who think about the vaccine. Please share this show. Like and share the show out so people can know the truth. That's my time, y'all. I'm Michelle Malcolm. Thank you so much for being a part of the show today. Have a good afternoon, and I'll see you guys right here tomorrow, same time, same place.